Well, how's everybody doing today? Think, I know it's Wednesday. I think it's July the 8th. And I know for a fact I just got back from getting my ears lowered a couple of notches there and um, took quite a while to find a barber here in Las Vegas that would just give me a haircut. The story on a haircut is always a story. The stories on my haircut when I lived here before I moved away in 2019, in the spring of 2019. I guess you could say I had sort of a mullet. I had a lot of hair and it sort of went back and around and all this kind of stuff. And had a great barber here in Las Vegas. His name was Randy. And the other guy in the barber shop was Tommy. Tommy was hysterical. The best part of going to get my hair cut was just the three of us, Randy and Tommy and myself, picking on each other. And 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 Randy was a diehard Chicago Cubs fan. Man, oh my goodness gracious. So anyway, geez, and Tommy was a kick in the pants too. But so I can always depend upon Randy, to be there to cut my hair. And so when I came back in March of whenever that was, 2024, I needed to get my hair cut because in Florida there are two options on a haircut: short and shorter. I tried to get my quote unquote mullet taken care of when I first moved to Northeast Florida, Jacksonville, Ponte Vedra Beach, wherever it was. And the gentleman asked me, he was probably my age, he said, "What would you like me to do?" I said, "If you could just get rid of some of the hair and thin it out and leave it the way it looks, I'd really appreciate it." And he went, "Huh?" So he made an attempt. He made an attempt, and I'll leave it at that. So I let it sort of grow back out, and I figured, well, I'm not going back there. So I had to go somewhere, find someplace else to go. And I went there and, huh? So I sort of gave up, found a guy, and I said, "You know what, let's just do a buzz cut and let's do it number four all the way around." And so my most of my entire time in Florida, except for my two attempts of finding someone that can cut my hair the way I would like it and the way I'm comfortable with it, went in vain. So I stuck with the number four buzz cut, and I would walk into a barbershop and ask for a number four buzz cut. I had one guy I went to, um, he was a crazy guy, and he sort of started doing too many drugs before he went to work. So I sort of had to walk away from there. And then I found a young lady in Jacksonville Beach, and she cut my hair, and then she would wax my ears and stuff, and that was a comfortable feeling. And then all of a sudden, she doesn't show up for appointments or. Geez. So anyway, number four buzz cut. Can't find anybody to wax my ears and my nose and stuff. I'd like to do that, but I eventually, after one, two, maybe three attempts, because I went back to where Randy and Tommy had their store up on Durango, and they were gone. That place it was now a not a barbershop. So I went to a couple places, sort of struck out, and finally found this guy right around the corner. Works at Figueroa's Barbershop. His name is Sonny, and it took a couple of haircuts to get there, but I think we finally gotten there, and I think I've been going in for a little over a year now. So so anyway, I got my ears lowered here today, and that's pretty much what I've done today. I wanted to sort of go backwards a little bit and revisit on Monday, because that was I might have touched on it a little bit. My visit with my new doctor, that I was very impressed with. She seems to care. She's been there a while. Hopefully, she won't do what these last two doctors have done, which is quit. And I still don't get that. That angers me. And it takes a lot, an awful lot, besides family members, to get me angry. Family members can get me pissed off and angry and all kinds of dishevelment on a drop of a dime. But people in general, it takes a lot to put me on tilt. And the whole doctor situation between Dr. Richards and Dr. Arslan put me on tilt, and I'm still recovering from it. Anyway, so she made one prescription change because I take more than my fair share of prescriptions in my buffet. My buffet is mostly supplements, and I think these supplements have a benefit to me. Other people will say you're nuts. I agree, I am definitely nuts, but the supplements I think sort of add to my well-being. So Dr. Richards, after my hospitalization a year ago last April, took me off Seroquel because he felt that the Seroquel might have been a contributing factor to the dizziness um, that put me in the hospital. And he put me on trazodone. And since I've been on that, I've had quite the challenge sleeping. And it's gotten to the point where it's a little bit uncomfortable. And I talked to the new doctor about this on Monday, and she says, "Well, I don't know why he would take you off of that, but if he had an inkling, because he knows you better than I know you, we'll go ahead and go back to Seroquel, and we'll go from 50 milligrams to 25 milligrams." So yesterday was my first dose of the Seroquel again, and I slept very nicely, very comfortably. A little bit tired. I think I had to get some adjustment. I'm going to ask her via my chart if there's a lower dose yet, because I could probably stand the lower dose. So anyway, so I'm so far thrilled about my doctor change. Thrilled that Sonny understands. I just want to get a haircut. The old 25-cent haircut that Bobby Rye used to give me. That's another story. I got a few stories, and that's just sort of what it is. So I might have mentioned when I got home Monday night, I had a thorough butt kick handed to me when I played poker on Monday. So yesterday is my bead making class. I got to tell you, I I'm really enjoying making these things. These still have to be cut at the knot and stuff. Um, and one of the ladies, oh my God, one of the ladies in the group asked me, "Am I going to start selling them?" And I said, "That's not my goal." But then again, back in the early 2000s, I made poker card guards. I think I have one here. Let me see. Let me find a better one. Yeah. So these are poker card guards. You use them to protect your cards, and I learned that lesson the hard way as well. One time I was playing at a poker tournament, and I was sitting in seat number 9, which is next to it's on the dealer's right. And all of a sudden I look up and I see I'd already looked at my cards. I had ace 10 of diamonds. And, and I see these cards sliding their way toward my cards. They hit my cards. The floor man is standing behind me. He picks up my cards, says, "Your cards are dead. You got to protect your cards." Well, so I went out and got a poker card guard, but I didn't like these things. They were just sort of junky, tinny. I hate to use the word Chinese, but they came from China. They were very Asian oriented. So a friend of mine who worked for Poker Stars, I was talking to him about it. I said, his name was Dan Goldman. I said, "Dan, I'd love to be able to make my own card guards and give them out as gifts and stuff like that. And and all I needed are the blanks. And I wanted to spin. And if you wouldn't happen to have a source, because I know you guys use spinners in your promotional material." He says, "Yeah." Next thing I know, I got myself a box full of these blanks. See the little nipple on the end, and I would show you how they spin, but I think I'm going to screw up my camera here. But we'll do a B-roll on that, and I'll learn how to edit my videos in CapCut. Have not dedicated enough or any time to it yet, but I will. And anyway, so as I got into these poker card guards, I got to thinking there might be some opportunity here and some fun, some mellowing fun. If people wanted a custom card guard versus maybe the few items that I was thinking about stocking, and they could send me their artwork, and I could create a label out of their artwork, and then I can laminate that label, and then I can stick that label to the blank spinner. And the next question would be, how am I going to cap it? There's like an epoxy cap on here. I don't know if you can see or not. And so I was searched around and searched around. I found this company in Utah. I might have mentioned this before. And they make epoxy caps. And they said, well please send us what you're looking to do. So I sent them the blank and a couple of pieces of artwork and stuff. I said, "I just want to make them look good. I want to make them as permanent as possible." It says, "Well, He goes, let me tell you about our caps. The glue we use on our caps is so strong, we refer to it as elephant snot. Sold. So anyway, so here we are 20 plus years later, literally 20 plus years later, and I'm making these very enjoyable stretch bracelets out of glass beads, and I have one here that I made. This is out of rosewood, and I actually am enjoying. For me personally, I'm enjoying the wood a lot better than the glass. But I got to thinking, I wonder if I can turn this into a custom card guard type of a project. So I've taken a couple of steps in that direction. Starting off with a Grateful Dead "Steal Your Face" logo that I'm going to try to put on these things, and also Las Vegas Raiders. And that I'm not going to do any advertising. I just sort of keep them around, and because people comment on my bracelets all the time anyway. So we'll see how that goes. So got pretty much what I need today to do that. Going to get deep into that project tomorrow, but I have to set aside a couple of hours each day to learn the video editor package CapCut. And I've tried to get into it a little bit. It's template driven, which I just I need to learn it. I need to practice it, and I need to be shown how to use it. And that's the challenge. I think my next door neighbor's 8-year-old great granddaughter knows CapCut. So, you know, anytime you need help, you go to somebody's granddaughter or great granddaughter. They know, especially on the iPad or an iPhone, there's very little that they don't know. So it's been a great couple of days. Not a lot of excitement. I got to, I trimmed out a couple of my plants over the weekend because I use this Picture This app that tells you if your plants are doing good or not so good, and I read it and I make the adjustments accordingly. And it keeps my house a happy house, and I like to be laid back. Bring it on, make it midnight, make it whatever it is. It just makes my house. Someone said the other day they walked in my house and they said, "Geez, Don, your house smells so fresh all the time." That was a compliment of compliments. And with that, I'll leave it. Love to hear from you. Please, if you would, just click that subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. Doesn't cost anything. Just click it. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but at least you get notifications on when I do one of these things. Anyway, have a great day. Talk to you next time.